Hey, Lauren here, and today I'm giving you my honest review of the Zojirushi Stainless Mug. Okay, so this is a thermos. It keeps your beverage hot or cold for a really long time, and that's what we have here. Right now on Amazon.com, this is retailing for between $22 US and $30-ish US, depending on the color that you choose. So it's expensive. When I first saw this and the price tag, I was like, why on earth would anyone pay that much for a thermos? It's small. It's not a big thermos. This one is 16 ounces, so it's definitely, not enormous. But then I looked at the reviews, and it currently has 4.6 stars with 7,431 reviews on Amazon.com. And that is very remarkable. That is a high rating and a very high number of reviews. So I definitely had to figure out what makes this so worth it, because so many people just rave about this thing. What is it about it? So I took a look at it. I'll give you some stats and then I'll kind of talk about the pros and cons that I found when I was looking at this thermos. Now, for starters, Zojirushi is a very well-known brand from Japan. It started in 1918, so they've been around for a long time. It's just a fun fact, it means elephant brand in Japanese. And I just got back from Japan and I saw huge displays of these things. They're very popular. I didn't buy one because I didn't really know why anyone would pay that much. But now, having looked at it, I think the number one thing is that it actually keeps your coffee warm for a really long time. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. There's lots of thermoses on the market. Lots of them claim to keep it warm for a long time. But some of the really big, competitors, they lose heat after a couple of hours. And this one, people will say it's almost too good at its job, because if you put your hot coffee in and it's too hot, it's going to stay too hot for the whole day. You really want to make sure that whatever beverage you put in here, it's at the temperature you want it to be, because it's going to stay there for, 6 to 8 hours. That is what this does really, really well. It actually keeps it warm for a really, really long time, or cold if that's what you want. Let's break it down a little bit more. This is obviously a vacuum insulation situation. So there's a vacuum in between a couple of layers in here. So that's how the insulation happens. The top here is made of BPA-free plastic. And then one thing about this mug is that there are a couple options for the inside. All right, so if you see this coating in here, it looks really nice. This is called Slicksteel, which I really like that name. It is electropolishing that makes it corrosion resistant and stick resistant without actually having a non-stick coating on it. So if you're someone who's a little sketchy about non-stick coatings, they offer this option. And then if you don't really worry about non-stick coatings, they do have one that has a non-stick coating. Apparently for tea, the non-stick coating, the diehard tea fanatics will tell you that that is what you want to make it taste the best. I don't know, I'm not a tea fanatic, but that is a little bit about the different coatings, it's a little bit confusing. But the Slicksteel, like this one, doesn't actually have a coating. It's just electropolished to make the coffee or whatever that you're drinking in here come off nicely so that it doesn't stain, etc. A few things that are nice about this, I just opened it up, but I'll open it up again for you because this is one thing I like. The opening of this is very wide. So you could put ice cubes in there. You don't have to worry too much that it's a very, very narrow opening. I don't really love that in water bottles. So that is a really nice thing about it. I'll show you the lid here while it's open. There's a release here, but you can see I'm pushing it and nothing's happening. There's a lock right here and you just push it like that. And then it has the spring opening. This lock, you can use this with one hand. You can lock and unlock and open. So that's really handy, whenever you're using it, you don't need two hands to unlock it and that kind of thing. In terms of cleaning, it's nice because you just can pop this out and it's very easy to clean this. One thing I will say is that I read people and their reviews and they said, oh, it's dishwasher safe, that's great. It's not. It's not dishwasher safe. The company says that it's not dishwasher safe, so you should not put it in the dishwasher. They give you instructions on how to clean it, not in the dishwasher. So don't put this in the dishwasher. There's like really, sensitive gaskets and stuff in here that keep it from leaking, and you don't want to mess with that. So putting this back in, just easy peasy like this, pop it in, and it's ready to go. So speaking of like the lid mechanism and everything, it's very nicely designed. Like I said, everything works with one hand. All of the gaskets and the sealing in there. This is a thermos that I think you really can trust that it's not going to leak. You can decide how much you really want to trust it, but it really, really doesn't leak. People will put it in their bag, just like throw it in there, and they're not worried. And that's a rare thing. And I think, that is one thing that makes a thermos worth the extra investment, when you're not constantly afraid that it's going to leak all over, say, your laptop, in your bag. This one is known to be really, really good at that. I'll show you this lid here. So opening it up, I love that it is kind of this larger opening here. So it's not like a teeny tiny little hole, which I find with some of them also really bothers me because it makes everything extra hot because all the steam and all the liquid is coming through this tiny little hole, and that's tough for me. I like that it has this big opening. It's got like an extra hole at the top to make the flow come out nicely because, it's made in Japan and they really think about those things. Another thing that you can see here is that some people find that the lid gets in the way when they're drinking. So it actually, this is what it looks like when it opens, and then you can push it back even further and it stays locked. So when you're drinking, it's not falling on your face, which is just remarkable to me, is that they've thought of that you can push it and lock it back and not get things on your face. So that is kind of the design of it. It is very, very compact. 16 ounces. They have a larger size one and a smaller size one. This is kind of the medium size, but it's really, really narrow. It looks nicely designed. There's a lot of different colors. This one is kind of like a champagne gold. It's really beautiful. Some people actually find that it's too narrow and it doesn't fit snugly in their holders, the coffee cup holders in their cars. I find that this would fit really nicely into like a side pocket of a backpack. Wherever you go, you'd never be worried that it wouldn't fit. Some of them are much wider for the same volume. And so I really like the design of this. It feels nice, it's not too large to grasp. So I personally really like the design of this one. The weight of it itself, it's fairly light. It's 8.6 ounces without anything in it. So it's definitely good for traveling. I think it's really meant to take with you for the day, and it's not going to weigh you down, but it's still going to do the job it's supposed to do. Now, a few of the cons. I've talked a lot about the great design, the great heat retention, the really easy to use lid. All of that stuff is really, really cool, but it is not perfect. One thing about it, you're spending a lot of money on this thing, but you can see here the lid, there's this little lip here that's plastic, and there's a little one up here that's plastic, and they're quite small. And a lot of people have found that this thing will snap off. It's so tiny, it's very, very thin. It will snap off from, opening and closing it all the time. Just normal wear and tear, it will snap off, and then you cannot lock it anymore. It's a very small little error that makes it basically unusable. A small piece kind of holds this whole thing together. And when that breaks, it says that there's a 5-year warranty on this, but that is actually only for the vacuum sealing. That's only if it stops keeping things hot or cold. It is not for any of the other parts. So if it breaks, you're kind of out of luck. You can buy another lid from the company. Don't quote me on how much it is, but I think it's $15. So it's kind of like half the price that it already was. So replacing that lid is a pain. The company will not give you a free one from everything that I've seen. So there is a chance that it could break, which is kind of, it's scary to make that investment knowing that it's such a small thing that could break. It still has a huge number of positive reviews, so I don't think it happens all the time, but it is something to be aware of. There's also a lot of don'ts with this. So like I said, don't put it in the dishwasher. Don't put anything with a high salt content in here. So like soup, or they even say if you're going to put a sports drink in here with lots of electrolytes, it can rust the inside. So you have to really rinse it very thoroughly when you do that, just so that you don't get any of that corrosion. It's not for tea with the leaves in there, because those could go into the gaskets and stuff in the top and get stuck and just cause all sorts of problems. So you're really looking at you're putting coffee or water or tea that you've already brewed. You're not supposed to put a tea bag in here and then let the string hang out the side. I think if you want this to work the way it's supposed to work, you really have to use it the way it's meant to be used, which is kind of a very narrow range of things that you're supposed to put in here. It obviously doesn't go in the microwave. There's a sticker on the bottom, and they expressly tell you not to take that off because it could rust. I don't know what this sticker is doing, but don't do that. There's lots of don'ts with this, but there's also people who, just buy them for everyone they know and replace them every time that they, wear out, because they really, really do the job they're supposed to do if you take care of it. All right, so that is my honest review of the Zojirushi thermos. I'm intrigued, obviously. I mean, long term, is it gonna hold up? I definitely wish that there were, more robust mechanisms in the lock so that you could know you were gonna buy this and it was gonna last 5 years, no problem, because then the investment would obviously be worth it. But already, if you're someone who wants your coffee to stay at that temperature for the whole day, you kind of drink 1 cup, nurse it over 6 hours, this is going to let you do that without that awful cold coffee moment in your day. So if that's of interest to you, I definitely recommend checking this one out. I love the fact that it comes in just more colors than you could even imagine. So please check out the link in the description to go take a peek and see if this might be the right thermos for your warm or cold drink needs. Thank you so much for watching today. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment below letting me know what you think of this thermos, or if you have a thermos that you like better, or there are other ones you want us to take a look at. We love doing these kind of things, so we're excited to hear from you. And subscribe for a whole lot more awesome reviews.